Why do skilled immigrants stay in Germany? At first, that sounds like a simple question, but the answer goes much deeper than most people think. Because if we are being honest, Germany is not the easiest country to live in as an immigrant. People complain about the taxes. They complain about the housing crisis. They complain about bureaucracy. They complain that things move too slowly. Some even say social life can feel cold, distant, or difficult to break into. So if all of that is true, why do so many skilled immigrants still choose to stay? Why do qualified, educated, and experienced people decide not just to move there, but to build their lives there? Why do many of them bring their families, settle down, and plan their future in Germany even when the country is far from perfect? That is what this video is about. And I want you to stay with me until the end. Because this is not just a conversation about Germany, it is a conversation about what actually makes a country worth staying in. Not just for appearances, not just for excitement, but for real life. For long-term stability, for opportunity that can grow over time. Because Germany is not a country that sells you dreams. Germany offers something else: structure, predictability, protection, and long-term possibility. And once you understand that, you begin to understand why so many skilled immigrants remain there. So as you watch this video, I want you to ask yourself one important question. Do I just want to move to Germany? Or do I actually want to build a life there? That question changes everything. If you are serious about Germany, type Germany 2026 in the comments. I want to know who is preparing, not just watching. Chapter 1. Let's be honest. Germany is not perfect. Before we talk about why skilled immigrants stay in Germany, we need to start with honesty. Germany is not perfect. One of the biggest mistakes people make when thinking about relocation is imagining that another country will solve all their problems. They think once they arrive, everything will suddenly become easy, smooth, and ideal. But that is not how life works. Every country has strengths and every country has weaknesses. Germany is no exception. Many immigrants arrive and quickly discover things they do not like. One of the first is the cost of living, especially in major cities. Rent in places like Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt, and Hamburg can be very high. Finding an apartment can take weeks or even months. Some people attend many viewings and still get rejected. Then there is taxation. Germany has a strong social system, but that system is funded through deductions. Many newcomers are shocked when they compare their gross salary to what actually enters their account. Then comes bureaucracy: appointments, documents, registration, official letters, insurance, and processes. Many of these systems can feel slow, repetitive, and outdated. In some cases, things that should be digital are still handled through paperwork and in-person visits. And then there is language. Even if your work is in English, daily life in Germany is not built entirely around English. German matters when dealing with landlords, officials, healthcare providers, and even social integration. On top of that, some immigrants struggle socially. Germany can feel formal, reserved, and structured. For people who come from more expressive or socially open cultures, this can feel isolating at first. So yes, these complaints are real, but that is exactly why the next question matters so much. If taxes are high, if rent is expensive, if bureaucracy is stressful, and if language is difficult, then why do people still stay? Why do they not just leave after 1 or 2 hard years? Because the countries people stay in are usually not the countries that are easiest at the beginning. They are the countries that make sense in the long run. And for many skilled immigrants, Germany makes sense in the long run. If you have only ever heard the negative side of Germany, type "I'm learning" in the comments, because the bigger picture starts here. Chapter 3. Reason. 1. Germany offers stability, not hype. One of the biggest reasons skilled immigrants stay in Germany is stability. And this point is deeper than it sounds. A lot of people choose countries based on excitement. They choose based on social media, appearances, or what sounds glamorous from a distance. They hear about fast money, bright city life, quick success, and endless opportunity. But when real life begins, many people discover that excitement is not the same as security. Germany is not usually described as glamorous. It is not built on hype. It does not always look exciting from the outside. But what Germany offers is something many adults eventually value more than excitement: structure. When a skilled immigrant gets a proper job in Germany, they often enter a system with stronger worker protections, clearer contracts, legal safeguards, and a more predictable environment. You know what your rights are. You know what your employer is expected to provide. You know the general rules of the system. This matters because many immigrants are not just trying to leave one place and arrive in another. They are trying to move from uncertainty into structure. And over time, that becomes powerful. In Germany, life may not always feel exciting every day, but it becomes more predictable. You can plan. You can think ahead. You can estimate costs. You can build step by step. And for people thinking about marriage, children, savings, or long-term residency, that predictability becomes extremely attractive. That is why some immigrants complain about Germany but still stay. Because even with its frustrations, the country gives them something solid to stand on. Stable systems may look boring from the outside, but they can be life-changing from the inside. If you value long-term peace over short-term hype, type structure over hype in the comments. Chapter 4. Reason 2. The demand for skilled workers is real. Another major reason skilled immigrants stay in Germany is simple. Germany genuinely needs skilled workers. This is not theory. This is reality. Germany has labor shortages in multiple sectors. Its population is aging, many workers are approaching retirement, and there are not enough local professionals to fill every gap. That creates opportunity, especially for people who understand how to position themselves well. This is why skilled immigrants matter so much in Germany. We are talking about areas like healthcare, nursing, elderly care, IT, software, engineering, logistics, construction, transportation, manufacturing, and technical trades. Germany needs people who can contribute now. And when a skilled immigrant arrives with experience, qualifications, and the ability to meet employer needs, they are not just arriving as someone looking for a chance. They are arriving as someone who can solve a real problem. That changes everything. Because once your presence in a country is tied to actual economic need, your value becomes clearer. You are not just surviving there. You are needed there. A nurse may struggle with paperwork and language at first, but they also know their role matters. An engineer may find housing stressful, but they still understand they are part of a strong industrial economy. An IT worker may deal with integration issues, but they know there is real professional space for them. That is why alignment matters. Germany is not random. Germany is selective. But if your profession matches the country's demand, your confidence, your chances, and your long-term prospects improve. And once immigrants begin to see that their career can grow in Germany, not just start there, staying becomes more attractive. Because now the country is not just a destination. It becomes a place where their profession can mature. Not because the road is easy, but because the road leads somewhere. If you are serious about Germany, always ask yourself, does my skill match Germany's demand? If you are already thinking about positioning yourself better, type I need alignment in the comments. Chapter 5. Reason 3. Germany offers a system, not just a salary. A lot of people assume immigrants stay in countries because of salary alone. But for many skilled immigrants in Germany, it is not just about the paycheck. It is about the system surrounding their life. Yes, salary matters. Nobody relocates without thinking about income. But many people eventually realize that a country is not judged only by how much it pays you. It is also judged by what kind of life that income allows you to build. Germany offers a broader system. That system includes health insurance, worker rights, legal protection, public services, educational access, transportation structures, and a level of order that many people learn to appreciate over time. So even when someone feels their taxes are high, they may still stay because they understand what those deductions support. It does not mean every part of the system is perfect, but it does mean the country is built around more than just money in your account. Many skilled immigrants eventually think like this. Yes, my deductions are high, but I have healthcare coverage. Yes, the system can be frustrating, but I know there are rules. Yes, life is expensive, but I can see a path. That phrase matters, I can see a path. That is one of the biggest reasons people stay in difficult places. Not because the place has no problems, but because the path still makes sense. Germany keeps many skilled immigrants because it offers a framework for long-term living. And for adults who are thinking beyond just 1 year, that matters deeply. Chapter 6. Reason 4. Healthcare security changes everything. One of the most powerful but underrated reasons skilled immigrants stay in Germany is healthcare security. Many people do not understand the value of a strong healthcare system until they have lived in places where a medical emergency can destroy financial stability. In Germany, health insurance is not treated like an optional extra. It is part of the system. And for immigrants, that creates something extremely important: protection. When you know that illness will not automatically become financial disaster, your relationship with life changes. When you know you can seek treatment, attend appointments, and access care within a structured system, your anxiety about the future decreases. For a single person, that matters. For a married person, it matters even more. For parents, it matters on an even deeper level. Because now you are not just thinking about your job. You are thinking about what kind of environment you are building for yourself and your family. That is why many skilled immigrants stay. They begin to imagine a future in Germany not just as workers, but as people, as partners, as parents, as human beings who want security. Yes, people still complain about delays or administrative frustrations in healthcare. Those complaints exist. But beneath those complaints, many immigrants still understand one thing clearly. They are safer in a structured healthcare system than in a place where one serious illness could collapse everything. And once people experience that level of safety, they often become more willing to tolerate the country's other frustrations. Because security is powerful. If you believe real success includes health security, type "security matters" in the comments. Chapter 7. Reason 5. Germany rewards long-term thinking. Another major reason skilled immigrants stay in Germany is that the country makes more sense for long-term thinkers than for short-term dreamers. Some people move abroad with a short-term mindset. They want quick wins, fast comfort, and visible lifestyle upgrades. Germany is usually not the best country for that kind of mentality. Germany often rewards people more slowly, but what it gives in return can be stronger. If you are patient, structured, and willing to build in stages, Germany can become a place where long-term planning actually works. Some people enter through study, some through work, some through vocational pathways, some through family routes. Over time, they move from temporary survival to stable residency. That is powerful, because many immigrants are not just looking for a place to earn money for 1 or 2 years. They are looking for a place where they can build legal security, career growth, family structure, and social stability over time. Germany appeals to that kind of person. It appeals to people who understand that not every opportunity has to feel exciting immediately to be valuable in the long run. This is also why some people misunderstand Germany. They judge it too early. They see the bureaucracy, the housing struggle, the emotional distance, and they assume the country has nothing to offer. But those who stay long enough often begin to see something different. They understand the logic behind the systems. They grow more confident in language. They learn how institutions work. They build financial habits. They find professional footing. They develop real stability. And once those layers begin to form, Germany starts to look less like a stressful destination and more like a serious foundation. Germany is not only asking, "Can you arrive?" It is asking, "Can you build?" And the people who answer that question well are often the ones who stay. Chapter 8. Reason 6. There is a real pathway to settlement. One of the strongest reasons skilled immigrants stay in Germany is this: there is a path forward. And for immigrants, that matters more than many outsiders realize. Nobody wants to live forever in uncertainty. Nobody wants to feel temporary forever. Nobody wants to work hard in a country where there is no visible future. People want to know that effort leads somewhere. Germany offers that sense of progression. If you meet the requirements, maintain lawful residence, integrate properly, and continue building your life, there are pathways toward permanent residency and potentially citizenship. That changes everything, because now your effort connects to future security. Your language learning matters. Your tax history matters. Your employment matters. Your integration matters. In other words, your discipline has direction. That is why many people stay through difficult early years, because they know they are not struggling for nothing. They are building toward a stronger legal future. And for immigrants, legal stability is one of the deepest forms of peace. When you begin life in a new country, so much feels uncertain. But once there is a visible path to something more permanent, the emotional weight begins to shift. You stop feeling like a guest. You start feeling like someone building a life. That psychological change is huge, and it explains why many skilled immigrants remain in Germany even when the beginning is not easy. Because the beginning is not the whole story. The path matters. Chapter 9. Final thoughts. It's not just about the jobs. So why do skilled immigrants stay in Germany? Not just for the jobs. They stay because Germany offers something deeper than employment alone. They stay because the country offers structure, because their skills are needed, because there is a system around their life, because healthcare security matters, because long-term planning becomes possible, because there is a path toward settlement. Yes, Germany has flaws. Yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, the beginning can be hard, but many immigrants still stay because the long-term logic makes sense. A good country is not always the country with the fewest problems. Sometimes it is the country where the problems are worth enduring, because the long-term reward is real. And for many skilled immigrants, Germany is exactly that kind of country. If this video gave you clarity, like the video, subscribe for more practical Germany guidance, and tell me in the comments, would you want to move to Germany or actually build a life there?